Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of 90 Day Fiancé The Last Resort. This week is the final part to the tell-all. I told you guys I would pick it up. I would get here eventually. And just like I'm picking up the pace now, I'm gonna pick up from part 4. I left a little last bit for Jasmine and Gino for this video because basically that's all of this one. So let's just get right into it. In my last video, I went through part 3 and 4 and I ended where Kay came out, the whole 5,000 fiasco thing. Not gonna get back into that. But right after that, everybody gets back on stage and they start with Jasmine and Gino. Well, end it anyway. This is our last couple.
Thank God.
And now that everybody's on stage, Sean has to remind these people to be civil and be adults, that they can't finish this off all crazy. So she goes on to ask Gino how things were after the resort. How was the therapy? How did everything go? And Gino says 10 days after they got back home, Jasmine disappeared. No location, phone was off, couldn't reach her, didn't know where she was, but he's pretty sure she was with Matt. And the whole time she's explaining this, Jasmine is over there whispering, it's not true. I'ma just let him talk, even though this is all fake. But after he's done talking, Jasmine is like, it's all nonsense, and that they both agreed to have the open marriage with Matt. So Sean asks them, what were the rules? Like, did you guys get it together? And the rules were that she was able to go over there twice a week for 2 hours a day. Obviously, no emotional connection, and her location needed to be turned on. Sean is like, so was one of the rules safe schmecks? And Jasmine was like, duh. Absolutely. They go on to show Gino and Matt on a phone call during the resort, and they didn't actually see each other. So Sean is like, well, since you guys didn't really have a conversation, we about to have one right now. Hello, Matt. And they bring him up on the goddamn call. I knew this was gonna happen, but it's just so goddamn awkward. And it's so effed up because Jasmine is so goddamn giddy when he gets on the phone.
Hi there, Matt. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Hi. Matt, congratulations on your future baby. Jasmine, you always talked about how Gino was physically your type, but Matt looks very different from Gino. Explain that to me.
Even if he wasn't my type, like, I think he's very attractive.
Well, I think he's ugly.
Um,
Such the ladies' man, aren't you, my man?
Oh my God.
Yeah, yourself, asshole. You're
Right.
an ugly mother.
Gino.
Just shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth, senior citizen.
Shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that? Bitch,
Sean, of course, congrats him on being a dad and asked how he felt when Jasmine gave him the news. He said that he was scared because originally, since he's been young, he's been like, no wife, no kids. I'm not doing that family man stuff. But he's like, now I'm at an age, though, where I think I should probably grow up. And Jasmine is like, yeah, I'm totally surprised that this even happened because we took all the precautions.
I don't believe you.
like, we couldn't believe it was happening. So, yeah, he was super scared. But once he saw the facts that, yes, he was immediately very
You were afraid to have kids, but you weren't afraid to have a kid with a married woman?
Things kind of just happen sometimes in life.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Me, I'm like a new shoes. Nobody can see my face here.
I know Gino is trying to make you think that I'm some horrible, like marriage breaker, and I'm not. I'm not that type of person.
Does it feel good?
So, Jasmine, you've always said Gino is physically your type, but now we look at Matt and he's definitely the complete opposite. So what's up with that? Yeah, I find Matt attractive, but I also find my husband very attractive. Well, I find him ugly. Oh, ugly schmugly. Matt goes on to explain that Gino has just tried to make him look like some marriage killer, some man that just came in and stole his wife, and that if anything, he's the victim here. He got swooped into this situation. He was just invited and he showed up and stuff happened, but then goes on to be like, you're not treating your woman right. How dare you? She's a queen. But Gino starts going off. He's like, shut up. You don't know anything. I love my wife. I treated her so well.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
But Brandon points out, even when they were intimate, stuff wasn't good. So why would they think the open marriage would make anything better? But Gino goes on to explain that he regrets his decision. He should have never done this. And Sean is like, usually when people open up their marriage, they already have a really good marriage, and it's, you know, to just spice up their life. You don't use this as a band-aid, so why do you think this would work? And Gino says that he was just trapped in a corner. He felt like he needed to make a decision, and he felt that if his wife was happy, then in turn he would be happy, and then eventually they would be happy together, and then they would just be able to drop Matt. And as he's explaining this, Florian butts in. He's like, but you're not fucking your wife. And Gino almost turned around and snap, crackled, pop, but then he realized who the hell he was speaking to, and he's like, don't you fuck. You know, excuse me, just let me speak a little bit, okay, please? And Sean goes on to explain that what everybody else is explaining, how did you think she wasn't going to grow a connection and feel something for somebody that she's effing around with repeatedly when she's not effing around with you? Like, how is that gonna work? And his whole thing is like, well, she signed a paper saying she's gonna be with me forever. And also, the Schmeck's therapist, she's got an open relationship and they're doing great. Yeah, that's because she was already in a happy marriage. Like, are you not getting the get? And now this was really weird because Sean goes on to ask, what is Gino even getting out of this situation? And I thought it was some weird passcode, I don't know, like pineapples or something, but she was like, cheeseburger. Everybody's confused. Even Matt's like, haha, cheeseburgers. She goes on to explain that the one thing Gino asked for, and apparently for the first 2 weeks, they were doing this and he was completely happy. And the only thing that he asked for was when she got back home, she wanted Matt to buy him a cheeseburger. So she would come home with a cheeseburger every time she was done. And he was happy. And Gino, he tries to be like, nope, that was not me. But the way he's looking and the way he's reacting, he was gobbling up them cheeseburgers. He was definitely asking for that.
And I will come back home with the burger that Matt will buy to her.
This is a 100% a lie. I've never said that. He's a burger pimp.
Now Rob is still very passionate about the whole situation and ends up calling him a piece of shit, which I felt like was like too far. Like, you didn't have to go that hard. And even Julia's like, listen, you don't even really know this guy like that. Like, why would you say that? And he's like, I don't need to know that guy like that. He made my friend's wife pregnant. And it's like, I mean,
Okay.
But Matt goes on to kind of show like his immaturity a little bit. The way he's talking, it's very off-putting.
He do to your life.
He got my friend's wife pregnant.
Gino is a grown man, bro. You don't need to be his cup.
Hey, dickhead, shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth, senior citizen.
Now, Benny goes on to ask the real question and was like, did you even know why they needed this open relationship? And Matt goes on to be like, nah, not really. She explained a little bit. All I really know is that they weren't effing around. So I found my opportunity, boy. But then right after that, with the drop of a dime, it's like, but he was treating her so bad. How could you do that to her, Gino? You were an awful husband. But you didn't know anything about the situation, so how do you know that he was a bad husband if all you heard was that they weren't effing around? I mean, yeah, I guess that does fit into the category of not being that great of a husband if you know, you're not doing the do when your wife wants the do, you know what I mean? But it's like, he was going in. Now, Sean asks, so what was the line that you couldn't cross? Like, if you had to have a connection with this guy, what was that line? And Jasmine goes on to explain that, yes, she did have to have some type of connection to the person that she's doing this with, which I completely understand. Like, she did not just want to do some random dude, but she said the line was if she ever felt like she wanted to be with Matt more than Gino. And I felt like that line was crossed a long time ago. But she's like, yeah, once I felt like I wanted to leave Gino, that was the line. Like, I didn't want to do it anymore. But Rob asked Matt if he loves Jasmine, and he's like, yeah, of course, that is gonna be the mother of my child. And Sean asked Jasmine the same thing, and to break it down, she basically does love this guy. She's like, no, I don't love him, but he cares about me, he protects me, I feel protected, I feel loved, I feel very cared. Like, just goes on about how awesome he makes her feel and all this kind of, you love this guy. But Sean asks if she still loves Gino, and long story short, she doesn't. She says that she doesn't hate Gino. She can't ever hate or resent somebody that she used to love that much. But at the end of the day, no, she don't love Gino like that. But Sean lets Matt have his last words and is like, you can say something, but only to Jasmine, not anybody else. We're not starting any more fights.
Matt, do you have any final words for Jasmine?
I love her and I care for her. Whether we're together or not, I still care for her. So I'll always be there to support her, you know. I'm happy and I think it's going.
Now, the therapists were in the back listening to everything, so they got all the tea. They heard everything that's going on. And Sean asked them, do they think that the relationships here have been successful on getting what they want, what they were looking for? The Schmeck's therapist goes on to say that they had a hard time because they kept trying to do what they thought was right instead of just listening to their internal compass. And the other therapist goes on to say that it's so easy to point fingers, and that's what they've been doing. But at the end of the day, their problems are still there, and that's why they are where they are today. But it is important to find personal journey growth, and as long as you've grown in some type of way, like, that's all you can do. Now she asks if they're surprised by any of the couples splitting up, and they start with Jasmine and Gino. And of course, all of them were like, hell no. We saw that coming from a mile away. We didn't see the baby, but yeah, they definitely were not gonna last. And the Schmick's therapist, since she had such a big part in this, goes on to explain that they just rushed into this really quickly, like they had no grounding or anything. They just went off, and that was their problem. And Josh asked, like, did he explain this to Gino, that this probably wasn't gonna be a good idea? She's like, listen, that's not my job to tell people what they should and shan't do. I'm just here to explain the steps to you on what you want to do. But when Josh asks, have you explained this to Gino? Florian pipes in first, and he's like, no, they didn't. They did not say anything. And the therapist on the end, I don't like her either. But she was giving off like Karen, and she's like, how do you know that? And he's like, because that's my brother, he tell me everything. But I felt like this therapist right here kind of was just saying like sideways shit, and it made Florian pop the hell off. Yes, this woman was annoying the hell out of me, but at the same time, Florian need to get it together with his anger and his like just going off on people. People can annoy you, and you could just sit back and be like, whatever, lady. You should have did that with her. But Florian is like, look at the product, you ruined that marriage. And they go back into being like, it's easy to point fingers. That's what we just said. You're doing it right now. I can tell them again the steps they need to take on what they want to do, but I can't tell them what to do. Now they move on to Stacy and Florian, and she asks what advice do they have for them. And the therapist on the end, the one that I was saying that was kind of iffy, she goes on to be like, the biggest note is that Stacy wanted the help. She wanted to do the therapy, so she really got that experience. Where Florian, on the other hand, was rejecting it. He didn't want it, so he wasn't getting the same help. And says that he's very closed off, and that she sees that they have a parent-child role. And Florian, I don't know what it is about this, the whole my mom thing. Josh also had to calm him down earlier about this with somebody else, but she's like, yeah, they have a parent-child role. And Florian is like, who?
I think that they fall into a parent-child role a lot, and
what again is that?
We definitely.
Stacey's my mom, basically saying.
Not your mom. She's acting in the role as such.
Is she acting in the role of my mom, huh?
A mom.
My mom, basically.
A mom.
Yeah, I see different way.
Okay, however you want to see it.
How you see like Stacey? Like for what Stacey teach me like a sign of what the hell you saying?
You know, here, let me step.
No. Stay far away, please. No, stay far away. No, start far away. No, enough, Stacey.
Have some respect for them.
Ari, go sleep, please.
They're trying to explain it, so let them explain so you understand.
I'm hearing her. I treat Stacy my kid. It's opposite direction, man.
Okay. Can I give a description? So, is that okay with you?
Speak.
Florian, it's used to describe kind of just a general dynamic that happens.
Yes, but
okay.
Teach her to explain things.
Cut the cameras. Dead ass.
Enough.
And this is
enough.
One second,
here's the piece with therapy.
I Stacy.
Total disrespect. Can't deal with this anymore.
She is so tired of him demanding respect, but he disrespects everybody. But back on the stage, the therapists go on to explain that they see people use anger as a protective type thing. And Florian angrily is like, angry? Who angry? What anger? I'm not angry. While storming off the stage. But he goes back there to talk to Stacy and she's like, listen, you just need to chill the hell out. You were being so goddamn disrespectful. It's embarrassing. And he's like, fuck it. I'm gonna go smoke a weed cigarette.
Telling me I have anger issues. Never telling me in last resort. Never, 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 never. Never said nothing.
Anger issues?
Huh?
Do you have anger?
No, I don't have. I'm sorry. No anger, no nothing. Stop pissing me off. Leave me alone.
But now Sean tells the therapist it's time for them to go. Everybody says their goodbyes. But before they can end this all, of course, they have all their little backstage interviews. Jasmine's in the back with the Schmeck's therapist, basically explaining everything that just happened. And she has to have her last cry before she goes. And then we go over to Gino and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go find me some single ladies. Now Stacy, Florian, and Benny are all talking. And Benny just gives Florian some advice, being like, I don't really like therapy too much either. So why don't you go try to talk to a priest? And Benny is being very serious about it. Like, he's trying to give him some good advice. And Florian, of course, just joking it off. And Stacy right then and there, she's like, I am over this. You know what? I'm just gonna do my own thing. I would say spoiler alert, but we're at the end of it anyway. Stacy and Florian, they're no longer together. I'm pretty sure, like, how long has it been? Like 11 years? Like, they've been together for a really long time. They are no longer together. The only couple that is still together from this season is Brandon and Julia. Now they move on to Rob, and Rob just says that he wishes him and Sophie could have just gone the whole tell-all without having a blow-up with each other. Like, he just wanted to talk about the resort and, like, get in and out. But with everything that she just did, he is filing for divorce sooner than later. And now we go over to Sophie, and she's like, I do love Rob, but I'm glad I got to drag him. Now we move on to Natalie, and she says that she's completely done with Josh, but she is not done with family and having kids, and that she's about to go out there and start dating now, which I thought she had a boyfriend, but I don't know, that whole situation, very confusing. And that was the end of season 2 to The Last Resort. Oh my gosh. Can you believe 22 freaking episodes? 22 weeks? That was like almost 6 months worth of that show, and I always forget, like, that is a lot of time, dedication to us watching them. But I've said this before, this season was truly very good, that I am excited to see the next season. But at the same time, I hope they never come out with the season again, because this season only comes around when people's marriages are falling apart. And it's like, oh, and so far they aren't fixing any of these marriages very well. Even Brandon and Julia, they still got some complications going on there. So I don't know if this show is the right place to go. You know what? Out of anything, I'm gonna say it right here, right now. And you guys can, I don't know, drag me out back, do whatever you gotta do with me. I want another season of MILF Manor. Yeah, I said it. Give me another season of MILF Manor. I want it. And like I said, I will be the dang host on there. Y'all gotta get rid of the phone. Put me in there. I'll be the host. If you guys are down for another season of MILF Manor, hit that like and subscribe for real, because if they make it, trust and believe, I'm yapping about it. I'm gonna be the first one saying something about it. Maybe, probably, I've been slacking a little bit, but you know what? No, if it comes to MILF Manor, I will be there. But as always, thank you guys for coming and watching. It's always appreciated. You guys have a beautiful day. Bye.